Ladies and gentlemen of the rock and roll, punk, prog, hardcore, thrash, and heavy metal community, my name is Jason Evans, and this is the Great Metal Standoff, the podcast that pits music's greatest albums in track-by-track combat. And if you like a lot of heavy in your music, join our pit. Joining me, Imran is here for his 7th standoff, making him the undisputed MVP of this show. He joins me for a battle between Angel Dust by Faith No More and The Downward Spiral by Nine Inch Nails. And being a super fan of both records, if I am to properly explore these bands for the first time, you can't get a better guide than Imran. Or maybe we can, with our other guest today. Now, not only is it always a great time to talk music with people, but also I'm a long-time pro wrestling fan, and it is even better of a time to talk wrestling with like-minded fans. And the longer you go being a wrestling fan, you eventually come across a series called Botchamania. And I hear through the grapevine that the man behind Botchamania, Maffew Gregg, one of these albums are one of his favourites of all time. And well, Maffew has been very kind enough to sit down with Imran and I and pit these two wild records into battle. Here's how it's going to go down. Every album battle will be contested in track-by-track format by our podcast panel. Each individual panelist will select a winner of each pairing. The winning track receives a point to that individual's tally score. Tracks on albums that go uncontested can receive a tally point if a panelist awards it a gold star. Watch this space on that one. Once the battle is over, the album with the highest tally score will receive 1 grand point for that album. If a panelist tally score results in a draw, both albums will receive a half grand point each. And finally, the album with the most grand points will be declared the winner. And with that in mind, let's begin. And Imran, this is your 7th podcast, lucky 7, but it's not about us today, is it?
Ooh. Oh, it is not. We have a much larger guest with us today, but
the most ambitious crossover we've done.
Potentially.
The furthest we've gone is we went outside of our metal world. Now we're going outside of music in general, just because I wanted to talk a bit of wrestling with the guest here. He's dialing in from Newcastle upon Tyne, from Her Majesty's United Kingdom, the man behind Botchamania, the Cultaholic, host of the Cultaholic Wrestling podcast, and something that doesn't get enough love, Scott's Blog of Doom, weekly article on Scott's Blog of Doom. I reckon he does great stuff there. But it is Mr. Botchamania, Maffew Gregg. How are you? In good health?
Thank you, Jason, for that lovely intro. Yes, I am in good health. I've been going to the gym, so right now I'm knackered because my body's going, whoa, 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 sweet child of mine. What are you doing to yourself?
Is that part of the day-to-day routine, is it?
It's supposed to be, but now my body's like, all right, slow down, kiddo. Jesus, So I did like 2 days on the trot and went, because right now the gyms in the UK, the one I go to, they're like, okay, you have to be here for 15 minutes and then you leave. So I'm like, all right. So I used to when I used to take my time, all right, have a check some Twitter. But now it's like, all right, move, go, because other people need to use it. And, as soon as a bit of equipment free, you got to use it, which is great if you're used to it. My body's just like, no. No, come on, man. No half measures here. But no, thank you very much for that lovely intro. I appreciate you reading the Scott Blog of Doom.
Yes. In fact, actually, because of the Scott Blog of Doom, now this is just basically because I got into wrestling late 08, early 09, and at that point that's probably me being 9 years old. So I would come home from school on a Wednesday, a Thursday, and a Friday and immediately sprint to the TV because on those particular days on a channel called Fox 8 here in Australia, it's a pay TV channel, that would be Raw, ECW, and SmackDown respectively, and I watched all of it. So it was really fun going back to that time. Not in one block. I would come home from school on those respective days, and that would be.
Oh, I see. This is like
Monday
one
night
giant
Raw.
6-hour block of wrestling.
Imagine that. But imagine that. That was the maximum back then of weekly TV. Now it's gotten to like 10, hasn't it?
It certainly has. Less is more. They used to yell, and I used to, oh, shut up, you don't know what you got. And now it's like, oh, yeah, they were right. But no, it's a good time for the wrestling. That's when I was getting into it more because I'd been in it as a kid and then wasn't able to watch it because it used to be on free TV over here in the UK.
Yep.
And then WWF ended up annoying Channel 4 quite a lot over some weird issues. Specifically Mae Young and some stuff she wasn't wearing at the Royal Rumble 2000. And then it wasn't able to be watched as easy as it used to be. But I used to keep up to date with it by reading magazines like Power Slam. And then, 08, 09, it became a lot easier to watch this stuff. And I was like, oh, great. Let me keep up with this and get more into it. So I'm glad you have that same pool, I guess. Because it's like 97 to 2001. Yeah, I know all about it. And then there's like 2002, 2007. I'm like, it's all a big blur. But
I actually genuinely didn't expect that from you, Maffew. I would have thought you'd been very well versed in, because I only worked out that only very recently that period of time is considered the dark days, because it's, guest host Raw era and like the squandering of the Nexus and that kind of thing. But I look back at that like, hey, this is a great time, but I didn't realize that it's considered like the doldrum of WWE at that point. But like I said, when you review ECW on Sci-Fi from 2009, but however, it made me rediscover Tony Atlas's laugh, and that is one of my favorite rediscoveries of all time.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm with you. To me, there's a big difference between 08 and 09. That period, it's very good. There's a lot of booking that works very well. ECW on Sci-Fi benefited greatly from having these guys who were going, we don't want to fire these guys, but we're not doing anything much with it anyway. I don't know, let's put Miz and Morrison together and see if they have any chemistry whatsoever. Stuff like that. Zack Ryder getting his start, Kofi Kingston getting a start like that. I think it's a much maligned period because of just it being called ECW. But as great as that was, Raw 2010 to 2012, I want to say. I'd call it the time after that, but before The Shield and the Wyatt family came in. Awful.
Apart from probably CM
rotten. Punk. Yeah, apart from Punk and Bryan and some bright spots here and there. Rotten writing. Raw and SmackDown, SmackDown was unwatchable. The Raw guest host era. The Summer of Punk getting ruined and stuff like that. It's just, I'm with you. It's a rotten period, but... and the Nexus. Yeah, that worked out great, didn't it? But,
well, one success story, Daniel Bryan.
I was going to say Ryback, but...
Oh, yeah, Ryback, of course. Yeah, but, who cares? But no, honestly, but still, again, let's emphasize, Tony Atlas's laugh. Got to be one of the greatest laughs in his wrestling.
Those segments are some of the most insane I've ever seen in wrestling. Because no one gets it. No one gets the joke. No one is on the same level. They're going for a parody of late-night talk shows. So I was like, here's Abraham Washington. There's some deliberately bad jokes. Yeah. And then there's Tony Atlas to laugh at everything. No one's laughing. No one's booing. It's just sudden silence as people just like this. That's the noise that generated. Just, okay. And then they're amazing. They're on the network. And Peacock. What have you got over there? We don't have Peacock.
I think we still have the network here.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they're stunning to watch because you're like, this made air, and they kept on doing it, and no one every time it comes up, it's just insult, and there's literally like a line he ends it on. It's like, well, that's the end of that chapter, and no one even pops for like the end. It's just okay. So great. So yeah, ECW Sci-Fi. A treasure trove of weird stuff, especially when you see the Young Bucks and other people appearing. So,
final comment I'll make on ECW on Sci-Fi: I will defend until I'm blue in the face that Christian would not have had his world heavyweight title reign for 5 days if it wasn't for his ECW run.
Exactly. Yes, I think Christian. They needed that kind of big guy for that program. They had CM Punk. He became too big. Then he was the champ. They had Matt Hardy come on and be that dude, and he was amazing in it. Some of the best punches in wrestling. I forgot all about that. The series of Mark Henry. And then, Christian perfectly slotted for that to get himself built up. Yeah, good times. And it's also like the fact that I used that blog just to type out some stuff. And I don't know why Marilyn Manson came up. I think they used, that's it. This is the new S. There you go. No swearing. Became the theme for a bit. And then he got rid of it. And I remember saying, I've never really seen Manson the same way after I paid full price for Smells Like Children. And if people don't know about that was barely an EP. It's 3 cover songs, 3 remixes, and some, those weird filler tracks that Rob Zombie used to like later on in his career. And that got more comments on the section than anything to do with the wrestling. Going, I bought that as well, Maffew. Or like, I haven't respected him since Golden Age of Grotesque. I'm like, yeah. So I'm very flattered that I get to talk about this lovely period of, what do you even call them? Yeah, I guess metal. For the sake of easiness, 2 amazing metal albums.
In terms of the Marilyn Manson Imran, do you share the same sentiment there?
I genuinely have never listened to Marilyn Manson, apart from like that one song. the beautiful people.
Which was also the
That's
SmackDown theme from '02.
That's
There you
right.
go.
And the
Yeah,
Raw theme for a few months.
In '97, yeah, something like that. That again, that I obviously clearly missed the Attitude Era completely, and the Ruthless Aggression era. So I am a completely different league. I'm sure all the wrestling fans love me. But Maffew, we brought you here to talk about Faith No More and the Downward Spiral. I must ask, is this your first non-wrestling centered podcast you've ever done?
I did one about One Piece, which isn't metal, but this is the first one about music.
First music podcast.
Actually, no, that's true. I did something about video game music. It's supposed to be like an hour long. The video game hour, and it did like 2 hours because they're like, who thinks better, Batista or Triple H? I'm like, I'm tired, guys. It's 5 a.m. So yeah, no, this is the first music one, proper music, I guess, to annoy some people, some chiptune artists. So yes, and I'm flattered because it's one of my favourite albums, possibly my favourite album of all time, and that is Faith No More, Angel Dust.
So when this battle was proposed, what went through your head immediately?
I'm going to have to think of something positive to say about Nine Inch Nails' The Downward Spiral compared to this album. This beautiful monstrosity, this deep, evil, dark, twisted, industrial, jazz, twisted, experiments with sleep deprivation, if I remember my interviews right with Mike Patton, album. That is Angel Dust. And also Trent Reznor. That's it. Like, featuring Angel Dust, Faith No More, Mike Patton, the dude from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And then also appearing, one exciting match. Already in the corner to my right, Trent Reznor. No, this will be a fair fight, I'm sure.
Imran, where do you stand on this battle?
It's going to be a very interesting fight, I got to say, because I've got my suspicions on which way I'm leading. I don't want to spoil anything, but I don't know yet. These are both two very conceptually interesting albums, and they're so hard to describe like what they are, and especially like putting them up against each other, two very different sounding albums as well. Like one of them super visceral, super heavy and dark. The other one a little more playful, but also has its really weird moments. I don't know. Oh shit! I'm gonna see where this goes. That was my phone. I'm sorry.
No swearing.
Dropping the phone. So to both of you gentlemen, what do these bands mean to you?
Matthew?
Oh, sure, you make noise. I thought you... I'll go first then,
Yeah.
That's no problem. Faith No More, to me, were always, growing up, the band that had the song Epic. And I thought for a while that they were just the little brother, the one they don't talk about. The Bart Gunn to Red Hot Chili Peppers' Billy Gunn, with the funky and the giant shirts, and the can you feel it, see it, hear it, and all this. And then my dad, who has an amazing taste in music going back all the way to the 20s with these amazing CDs he's got. He's one of those dads that has those giant CD album stackers just with everything he's ever listened to ever. He's not binned anything. He's kept it. He's a guy that has all the bootlegs for Grateful Dead. He's one of those dudes. So I just noticed, he goes, oh, you've got a Faith No More album. Aw, it's not the one with Epic. So I looked at the cover, and because it's just a bird, a duck, or swan maybe, I can tell I know my birds. I'm like, this time, the other bands that we listened to at the time, I don't know, Slipknot, someone was like, yeah, we're so cool and edgy and this is just, a duck. Ugh. So just look at that. I don't know what it's going to sound like. It's going to be just quacking or something. But it's like, all right, maybe I'll listen to it. So I kept it in my room and was like, nah. And it was such a... when you listen to an album and you sum it up with a period of your life. This was during my GCSEs when I would have been 14, 15, 16, beg your pardon. Sorry, I'm being stupid here. And my room was was covered in plastic, like in the Palmer from Twin Peaks, while they were having construction done in the house to renovate the attic. So everything had been moved out of there because it would just get covered in sawdust and stuff. So everything looked like Dexter's room. Just plastic everywhere in case of a murder or something. So all I had was the little Walkman and some notes for school. So like, all right, okay, cool. Well, I've got nothing else to do. I might as well listen to Faith No More, right? And I'd still remember the putting that CD in, click and play, and then just the opening bit of Land of Sunshine. I'm like, what the hell is this? This is what I was expecting. This is very heavy and very dark and all over the place. There is no epic here. There's no jumping around going, yeah, cool. No, this is a very different album than what was expected.
Because this is my first exposure to Faith No More, Maffew, I made sure not to listen to Epic so I could just judge the rest of Angel Dust without needing the preconceived information of Epic. And yeah, it's what an interesting listen. In contrast, Imran, the Downward Spiral, what made that so massive?
The Downward Spiral is such an interesting album because it, like, compared to Nine Inch Nails early, or the stuff they released before this, it's so different. So it's like a new take on, I guess, what Trent Reznor was trying to do. And from my research, it says he was inspired a lot by The Wall by Pink Floyd and David Bowie's album Low, which are both concept albums. So kind of you can, like, listening back to the album with that in mind, kind of knowing that you can really hear the inspiration of just the way the album is structured. And I don't know, it's so cool. I really love it. Whenever I think of the Downward Spiral, the first thing that comes to my mind is the whole album is just a dance party in hell. That's what I picture. It's just, yeah, repetitive beats, super grimy, evil sounding sounds. Everything is just visceral and interesting. I love it.
I'm glad you mentioned that point of the fact that the Downward Spiral is very inspired by The Wall, because you can make connections there. I think we can talk about that once we get to the battle. How about this? Let's get to the battle. Let's signal to our timekeeper and ring the bell. Final question we must explain right out of the gate. Maffew and Imran, shall we include Easy, the Lionel Richie cover?
Yes.
No.
Why
no,
not?
wait, if it helps me win, then yes. Yes. Depends. Imran, do you like the song?
I can't spoil. I played the Fifth Amendment. I can't tell you now.
Oh, that's good. It's good. You're a good poker player, Imran. All right then. Sure.
You will. We're going to make it official. We're going to add
Let me look
Easy.
at my cards. Let me look at my cards. Yeah.
We're going to add Easy.
Yeah.
All right, it's official.
Even though I don't want to, because the original version did not have it on, but I've now also got the deluxe album that got re-released a few years ago, and it does have Easy on, so I'm a giant hypocrite.
That's why I wanted to check. That is why I wanted to check. Well, let's begin. Land of Sunshine versus Mr. Self-Destruct. Maffew, as the guest, please let us begin.
What more can you say about Land of Sunshine than the opening sound of what I can only describe as a horde of pianos hurtling down the stairs, landing in a sea of drums? That is the Land of Sunshine intro. This was the opening sound of the album that I've come to love after all these years, that I was not expecting. As I said beforehand, expecting some, hey, Chili Peppers, California. And instead, I got this horrific sounding intro to a beautiful song. I believe the story is that by Patton or someone else from Faith No More took the lyrics from a Scientologist questionnaire that they were given. I may have just made that up and assumed that was read somewhere. Imran's nodding his head. That's confirmation. Thank you.
That's
from
true.
From the Peanut Gallery. Appreciate it. And so it's such a... Does life seem worthwhile to you? As people are laughing maniacally in the background while these chugging riffs are playing and the synth as well. Do you often stop and whistle just for fun? What a way to start. What a way to get you sat down, strapped in and ready for an hour and 10 minutes of heavy going. I love it. I think it sets the scene, sets the tone, even though the tone and everything else does change quite dramatically, often from track to track in this album. Love it. Love this song. I haven't got a way to close it, so I'll just say I love it one more time, and we'll go to Imran.
Sweet. Look, I'm a bit of a sucker for bass guitars, and this song has a amazing lead bass part in the main part of the song. So that's a tick already. I love the keys in the background. The vocals are just classic Mike Patton. Mike Patton is one of my top 5 singers, so I'm going to be like, what's the word? Just lost my train of thought. Anyway, I love the piano in the background. It kind of sounds like a circus. The descending piano, bit of a circus vibe that I really like. I
described it as Carney as well, so yeah.
Yeah, and the part this song that really stands out to me is the little operatic break. Just like switches to this weird bridge, and Mike Patton just belts out this operatic little lick, and I just That's all I can say. Going up against Mr. Self-Destruct, it's a tough choice at the moment because Mr. Self-Destruct is also possibly one of my favorite album openers to an album. It's just the dizzying sounds of the synths. It sounds like it's very fast moving, but it's not actually moving that fast. The super extreme distortion, the little quiet middle part is just spooky. It's a lot, but it's so good. This song is just the guitar outro of this song is quite possibly my favorite part. It's I don't know, it's just so cool. I don't know how to describe it other than messy and crazy and just exciting. Just grips you like, yeah.
Imran, do you know who played guitar on Mr. Self-Destruct?
It was I wrote down his name.
It was Adrian Belew of King Crimson.
Belew. That's the one.
Was it?
Apparently, yeah.
Oh.
It was.
Thoughts on King
He plays
Crimson?
on the whole album, doesn't he? I'm pretty sure he plays on the whole album, doesn't he?
Not sure. Well, fact checkers, facebook.com/Metal Standoff pod. I'm not sure about that. But honestly, King Crimson and Nine Inch Nails is not a duet I'd expect to hear. Because this is also my very first time checking out Nine Inch Nails as well. Didn't expect to see King Crimson appear on this.
I'm into King Crimson because my dad was, and because he's one of the main characters in JoJo Part 5. Haven't had that line next to me. Because all the characters from JoJo, the anime, they're all named after metal and rock songs. A lot of them have to be changed over for the Western release because of silly issues like copyright, of which I have no understanding of, obviously. And yeah, so it's like, let me actually listen to King Crimson and see what they sound like. Because there's like guys like Black Sabbath and Dio and all this rest. I know who they are. Let's listen to this. In the Hall of the Crimson Kings, my reference for King Crimson, and
what an album!
Almost I can see. I mean, in the court of the Crimson, that and that wall of noise, as it were, is. I can see some similarities here with this Mr. Self-Destruct. With, again, as Imran said beautifully there, the distortion, the deliberate distortion as well, which I think is funny nowadays with the loudness war kicking in louder than ever. That we have distortion but unintentional, but here it's intentional. It's deliberately rough. So there's bits where, it's like, instead of you going, oh, okay, that's a guitar. Oh, okay, that's a keyboard. It's just noise. It's just loud and rough and distorted. It's like, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell that is, but it's Nine Inch Nails.
Mm-hmm. Where's our first point?
I get better at like finishing my points because they always build and build and build, and it's just, and that was the end of that thought.
Well, we can cap it off with, where's your point lying, Maffew?
Oh, my point is firmly in the Faith No More camp. Get used to hearing that.
Imran?
I have to agree. I'm going to give the first one to Angel Dust.
Wait, really? I thought you said it was like your favourite opener.
It is. This is a very tough choice, but Land of Sunshine is also a very solid opener. I'll
defend, though, and say Mr. Self-Destruct. The whole album, and I think Nine Inch Nails do this with a lot of their albums, this really feels like an opener. I might have to say like an odd thing to say, but not all albums have songs that sound like this is the start of something. This is the start of a journey. And this definitely sets the tone, the pace, the idea. So I'll give credit to that. And also, with Faith No More, Land of Sunshine, I do think there's a little line there. It's like, does emotional music often have an effect on you?
Yep.
Which I think is what we call foreshadowing, or at least prefacing, because this is an emotional album. And I think, obviously, that they are taking the stuff from Scientology, but the fact they are talking, going, are you ready for this, lads? Are you ready for this carnival ride that we're going down, as you said beforehand, with the music playing? Because this is going to be an emotional album, and it might have an effect on you.
Nice. By the way, to add on to your point of saying that this is the damn straight opener of Mr. Self-Destruct, connoted perfectly with the very hollow drum, sounds like a heartbeat. And then it speeds up as we go along.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice little connotation there.
Yeah.
But no, I'm in agreement with the both of you. I'm taking Land of Sunshine. Carney intro, love it. The fact that we've all agreed on Land of Sunshine and the passionate plea that our Mr. Botchamania man, Maffew, has given us, I think, Imran, we have a challenge on our hands. Let's see if we can get at least one song for Maffew to pick against Faith No More. I reckon that's possible.
I'm in. Let's do it. I think I can do it.
I mean, you're not picking just, this isn't Melbourne's #1 Nine Inch Nails tribute band. This is Nine Inch Nails' Downward Spiral. There are some very good songs on this album.
Okay. Well, let's just see if we can get at least 1 point in the downward spiral column with Maffew next to Maffew's name. All right, Caffeine versus Piggy.
I reckon Piggy is one of the best songs on Nine Inch Nails, The Downward Spiral. Slow, bluesy, brooding, kind of got that like old style, like soul, real low, whispery. I don't want to say sexual, but like kind of sexual, like just really nice.
You can hear it in the vocal delivery, so I can see your point.
Low and like whispery, and it's just a nice organ. And there's some nice ambient sounds in the background. My favorite part of this track, by far, is the really slow build up to the really messy, almost you could almost call it bad, drum solo. But I don't know. It's really cool. It's so visceral. It's everything about this album it's got something to it that just makes you feel a bit on edge, a bit. I don't know. Like you feel like there's something coming for you, and I love it.
It's certainly the first sign of that. And just looking up the fun facts, Imran, since you're the person who studied the music theory in VC, I really do want you to help me through this, because you learn when you start uncovering the details of the downward spiral, of this downward spiral motif. And apparently Piggy is one of the first songs to have that motif, and it's done through a musical phrase. Could you just break that down for me?
I think that's the little keyboard melody at the end, isn't it? The descending melody on the keyboard. That motif comes through a few times on the album.
Yeah.
That it just slowly descends. It's a really nice motif. It's I guess you want me to explain like what kind of scale it is, or
explain however you feel like.
I don't know. I mean, like it's a downward scale. It's I guess in terms of music, a lot because it's repetitive. It just loops. So I guess spiraling further and further. Once you play the riff enough, it sticks. It's I don't know. I forgot who said it. In music, repetition is key, and if you repeat something enough, I guess that's the foundation of like all pop music, is repetition. So once you cement something in someone's brain, it's going to be there. So with like if you're going to scatter little like motifs and melodies throughout the album, by the end of it, people are going to pick it up and be like, oh, that was there earlier. It's a recurring thing. It's a theme of some sort.
Set up a plot element and pay it off later.
Yeah.
Maffew.
Yeah.
Contrastly, Caffeine.
I'm really glad that Imran resisted the urge to talk about the motif, and he did his best not say, well, it's a downward spiral. Well done, Imran.
I really tried.
Now, Caffeine, which is something very dear to my heart, so it might be an easy win already. Yeah, I mean, musically, I'm not someone who is well versed in describing music, so you have to bear with me. This song it's very visceral in the language, and the angry guitars work well with it. The way the song's put together, I enjoy. The lyrics are nothing. All right, there's no real meaning or cohesiveness to them, but I do enjoy them. Almost like the feeling of Caffeine, where everything's just happy and fast and you're awake. And I think maybe I'm giving them way too much credit by saying that was deliberate. I feel like I'm fan wanking there, but I don't care.
If I'm not mistaken...
Oh, please go ahead.
I was going to say, if I'm not mistaken, is this the one where Mike Patton wrote this after like being awake for like 3 days?
See, thank you. I had read somewhere that's the entire album was, I think it was actually Crank Magazine when they named this the #1 album of the 90s. And they said it was the album was an experiment in sleep deprivation. But specifically this seems to be, because it's called Caffeine, apparently Mike Patton has said somewhere that this was the song he said, well, let's see how long I can stay awake. And I'm not... I'll preface this by saying this was not necessarily a good idea at the time, but during 2010, I did go through the period going, wow, let me see how long I can stay awake for, how little sleep I need. I'll be like Mike Patton, because obviously you do these stupid... That's all it takes. I won't get a recording studio. I won't get some guys. I won't know the dude from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I'll just not sleep and just see what the effects are. They're hard to describe because the body needs sleep to think, and you're trying to think with no energy. So it's like, trying to make a phone call with no signal.
Wow.
I've been there.
Imran's good. Hey, dissertations
I
are
know
fun,
you
kids.
full well.
Yeah, so it has an effect on you, but not necessarily a positive one or a constructive one. And I feel like this is what this song is saying. None of the lyrics make sense. He sings about concrete. It's a phase. You'll just grow out of it. Doesn't really fit in with the rest of the song, but I like it anyway. It's very superfluous in that sense, I guess. So I love it to bits, but in the interest of fairness, this or Piggy. I do like the keyboard bit at the end of Piggy, which, again, also the lyrics don't seem to be very sticking to one thing. It's like, hey, pig, okay, march the pigs, it's the police and stuff. No, it's just actual pig, is it? It's an actual pig? Is he Mason Verger, perhaps? Maybe he's Bricktop, I don't know. So
Maybe just calling out to a pig. Hey, piggy, piggy.
We've had a hot opener, and this is the cool-down match. So it's hard to... They're both good, but none of them are essential songs on the album, I think. So...
I could argue Caffeine is an essential song on Faith No More. I'm a bit of a sucker for that song.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Just because you're being nice, Imran, I'm going to say, you know what? I think Piggy and its motif of spiraling downwards, I'm going to go with Piggy for this one.
Oh, already?
I was going to go with Piggy too.
Oh, wow.
No, you tricked me. No. Imran, how could you?
I thought I could do it. Song 2, how much do I win? Come on.
Song 2, yeah, Song 2, we managed to get him onto a 9 Inch Nails. Well done. Well done.
Gloves are off, ladies and gentlemen. We're starting off hot.
I think Downward Spiral have got the moral win tonight. Fantastic. But no, don't worry, Maffew. I'll take Caffeine. 2-0 for me.
Caffeine now to
Caffeine.
put myself up. I don't know.
Don't get me wrong, Caffeine's a great song. I love it.
Yeah. I do agree with Maffew in a sense that it is the cool down after Land of Sunshine, but it's a better song than Piggy in my view. All right, next battle. Now let's put it this way. It's got the song Hearsay on it. That's the battle, and I'm terrible with the pronunciation of this word. If Hearsay went up against Caffeine, I would have picked it, but it doesn't. It goes up against Midlife Crisis.
Should we skip this one?
Easy pick.
This is no.
Is it not? Okay, explain why.
This is one of the worst ones for me. Midlife Crisis is an instant classic. Like, I know it's the most popular Faith No More song. Like, it's for a reason. It is an amazing song. It's one of those songs that just speaks for itself. It's consistent. It's nice. It's just a boogie the whole way. And some of the, like, I guess I could imagine some of the vocal deliveries in it, like in the verse, the weird raspy, low vocal delivery is a bit visceral for what the rest of the song is. But I don't know. It just gives it that Faith No More sound. That little thing that they add to their songs. It's just, it's a Faith No More song. Now up against Heresy.
Heresy, thank you. Got the pronunciation now.
Yeah. Introing this like 80s like cyberpunk sound, like on this bass, I guess. It got this weird Prince vibe to it, like real retro industrial. I don't know if you can really compare it to like Depeche Mode or whatever, but that's kind of what I think of, like those really like early industrial. And I don't know, it's such an interesting song. It's going from that like really kind of light pop, almost like pop sounding verse to the just punch in the face. God is dead, and no one cares. Yeah, like what a punch.
Yeah,
the hypnotic drums in the middle just really suck you in.
I like that word, hypnotic. Yeah, damn right.
Yeah. I remember I still remember the first time I listened to it. It was just, that was all I could think of, was just, it just sucks you in more and more. The synth part or the guitar, maybe, I genuinely don't know if it's a synth or a guitar playing, but like that solo that happens, this is a tough one. I haven't made my choice yet, so.
Ooh, on the fence. I'll say this is the first Battle of the Heavyweights so far. This is the Hagler Hearns of the album because lyrically, I think it's all about the lyrics right now. Heresy, I did bless you, by the way, adorable saying hearsay. But Heresy is, God is dead and no one cares. Oh,
If there is a
That's just a
hell,
lovely
we'll see
thing.
you there.
oh, I mean, whoa. Okay, you got me there, pal. And it's weird. I like Nine Inch Nails. They did more of this on Pretty Hate Machine, where they have this ambient. I was gonna say almost deliberately low quality, but I think that's one of these 6 and 2, 3 situations where that's what they had access to at the time. Where it's like this ambient background music to a PC game, and then the guitars and everything else will kick in. So I do like Heresy's. I'm gonna say Hearsay's opening sound and now transitions to sound all nice and the lyrics, vocals are like this, very soothing. God is dead. Oh, okay, that's pretty impressive. But then again,
It's Midlife Crisis, isn't it?
Crisis. I mean, everything Imran said, I agree with. Going from just the vocal changes from Mike Patton, going from this plan, and then sense of security. He's almost doing the same thing Trent Reznor's doing, where like, I can do that angry stuff, and I can also do this thing with my voice that sounds all jingling. It's like, yes, okay.
Make it all grandiose, because they
Yes.
know they can.
So I think we'll have to go to the judges. Hang on, let's see. It's a 9-10 round all the way up to the final. The chorus. You're perfect, yes, it's true. But without me, you're only you.
Only you.
You're only you. And again, your mensurating heart, it ain't bleeding enough for two. All right, there's plenty of times in the Nine Inch Nails album where there's lyrics I can go, I can relate to feeling like that and that downward spiral. I don't feel like that and stuff like that. And he's obviously sings about relationships. But I've not related to anything on this album yet as half as much as that. Somewhat. Just about certain exes, people no longer in my life. Your mensurating heart ain't bleeding up for two. What's that?
There are hearts forming around your eyes right now as you describe Midlife Crisis.
Oh, I know. Why is it? I'm relating the song Midlife Crisis. Oh, fantastic. It could be called I'm Happy and Secure, could it? So
I'm gonna be I'm gonna be a bit of a party pooper. The whole that's a meh, but everything else is great. Midlife Crisis.
Oh, you like that?
Not really. Just not that I don't like it. Just everything else in the song's better than that.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, but honestly, again, first time listening to Angel Dust, the drum line, the chorus, it has not left my head. So it hasn't left my head. Midlife Crisis all the way, 3-0 for me. But Heresy would get a point if it wasn't up against Midlife Crisis, because I think that's probably top 3 of Downward Spiral for me. It's definitely up there. I'm not sure where that ranks for you, Imran, but it's definitely a top 3 song for me.
I think I'm going to pick it.
Really?
Midlife Crisis. Yeah. It hurts, but it's physically hurting me right now, but I'm going to pick it.
What about Maffew? Midlife Crisis or Heresy?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I am having a midlife crisis.
Okay. Okay. Lovely. All right. RV versus March of the Pigs.
Man, RV is such a weird song.
Yeah, really. This is a squash match. RV is, well, first of all, we'll get the elephant out of the room. It's the Super Mario Brothers underwater music.
Oh my god, it is.
Do, 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 do.
I've never made that connection before.
With that disenfranchised, gravelly spoken word.
Yes, I heard you talking to my... It's, everybody's staring at me.
There's some pretty guitar parts in the song's defense. There are some very pretty guitar melodies in that.
Definitely.
It is. It's just an odd little song from an odd little album. I do like it, but I don't go, oh yes, RV by Faith No More. It's not one of the album's highlights for me, just in terms of the themes that everyone else is happening in the album, and this song and this song and this song, and then suddenly do 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 do. Mike Patton apparently impersonating a fat guy sitting in a trailer eating horrible food, watching horrible TV from his quote. I'm like, fantastic. But it's almost like a commercial break in between the rest of the songs we'll go on. So between that and March of the Pigs, oh come on.
March of the
I think
Pigs.
we'll go right over
Matthew.
to Imran, who's going to tell us all about the great motifs of.
Yes, please do, Imran.
March of the Pigs, yeah. I I mean, March of the Pigs is just like you said. I don't see RV and think yes, RV by Faith No More, but I see March of the Pigs and I think yes, March of the Pigs by Nine Inch Nails. Like just the absolute thrasher of an intro. Like every instrument's just super punchy, very just rhythmically cool, and then all of a sudden at the end of the first half of the song, you just got that little "Doesn't it make you feel better?"
Well, that
And
throws
then
you off the first time you hear that.
straight back into the song after that. Yeah, just a little jump scare. Yeah, that's March of the Pig. Like RV is cool. I don't want to discredit RV here. It's as weird of a song as it is. I really like Mike Patton's like super low Elvis type singing, and like you said, the guitar melodies are really nice. But no, March of the Pigs very easily here.
I would call it the song of the album, honestly. That's my favorite. The Downward
Ooh.
Spiral, I'll call it now.
If it wasn't for the last song, I think you'd be right there.
Ooh. Foreshadowing. So I think it sounds like all three of us March of the Pigs.
Yeah, there'll be times when I'll go, all right, let me stick on another song. Cool, March of the Pigs. And there'll be times I'll stick on a Faith No More song, and it will never be RV. Even though I still like the craziness and the fact that the Super Mario Brothers underwater music's playing. Yeah. Sorry, Mike.
No problem, Matthew. Okay, score check. Imran, Downward Spiral leads 3-1. For myself, it is 3-1 Angel Dust. Matthew, it's a draw for you. 2-2.
Just getting started, man. I'm still stretching, still warming up, man. Doing me squats.
Right. This one's a battle for me. Track 5, Smaller and Smaller versus Closer. I'm going to need some convincing, gentlemen. I don't understand why Closer is the most popular Nine Inch Nails song ever.
Oh, thank you. Good. I'm in the good company here.
Oh, really? I didn't anticipate that. Imran, try and convince me to why Closer is one of the best songs off it.
I mean, I guess I could understand why Closer is the most popular Nine Inch Nails song because it's just groovy the whole way through. There isn't anything. Well, I wouldn't say weird. It's still got some weird parts, but it's the most accessible out of everything on this album, I would argue, because it's just you can just bop to it the whole time. You can just move to one tempo and just and especially after you get through the first part of the song, after the verses and the choruses, the second half of the song is just a dance party. It's just you're going into an elevator and suddenly everything's getting a bit hotter and then people are dancing all around you and it's just you're going through different levels. It's a whole journey after that of just dancing. That's like it's just imagery. And even I guess the topic of the song isn't particularly commercial or in terms of anything. It's a funky song. It goes hard. It's catchy. It's a really solid song. And that's, I believe, the song that's got the little piano motif more on display at the end, where it kind of comes in as just a singular piano playing after everything, and it's just a bit of ambience. Yeah, it's a really good song. Up against Smaller and Smaller, this is where it gets a bit tricky because I really like Smaller and Smaller.
Agreed.
It's one of those songs. I think it was the first song that stood out to me on this album when I first listened to it. It's got a bit of a Dio vibe to it. It's just got that epic, like big mountain feel. Especially in the chorus. The chorus is my favorite part, where Mike Patton just belts out just big scream and then suddenly turns into like a dolphin or something.
Yeah, it gets really sinister.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Cool. Nine Inch Nails, Closer. I'm sure in another world, another time of my life, I would have said that this is a fantastic song, and I love the animalistic themes of becoming more and more intertwined and embracing the animalistic side of things after Reznor's had to go with all these poor pigs throughout this album. Now he wants to be one. Trent, mixed signals, pal. But I am never picking this for anything favourable. For the simple fact that the amount of bleeding times this came on at clubs that I went into on a Saturday night all by my lonesome, and this bloody never-ending song would come on, and the idea is, when the song comes on with a bum, 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 I want to do this, it's PG podcast, like a so-and-so, and if you've got someone and you can do the slow waltz, it's a bit of a in between Mudvayne Dig or whatever that's just been on. You go, all right, now's the time of night where me and this person who I've either been with before the night or I'm getting with during the night are going to boogie and sing the song together, and then we're just going to leave the club. Cool. Not one time in my life have I done that with somebody at a club. So, hey, if you've got somebody, if you've got a fellow human being, or you've got a pig, or whatever Trent Reznor would like you to have during the song, fantastic. I'm sure this is top 10 songs to listen to when you're out with your mates or your significant other or whoever the hell you've picked up right now. For all the single men who've had to listen to this bloody song by themselves, looking around, couple to the left, couple to the right, and a in my hand and nothing in my other. Oh, great. Good job it's a short song though, isn't it? Oh, it's only about 7 bleeding minutes long with an outro that no sensible DJ would ever shorten or abridge. Oh,
Let me correct you, 6:13.
You're like, how long is it?
6:13.
6:13, and 3 of those minutes have lyrics. I mean, if Trent Reznor showed up the last 3 minutes and went, have you got anybody yet? You mean to tell me I put out this funky disco song and you haven't got anybody? You're not going to get effed like a pig. You're going to go home and eat from your pig trough by yourself. Someone help him.
I didn't mind the delivery of the help me. I didn't mind that, but all right.
Yeah. So the simple reason there, I'm sure any other time in my life, if I'd pulled with this song, looked around and there's someone going, yeah, 9 Inch Nails, right?
You'd be very biased on the song.
I'm 10 out of 10. I'd send love letters. I'd send a Christmas card to Trent Reznor every December. So for the simple reason I can way more relate to Mike Patton singing about being insignificant with a fantastic chugging riff there, reminiscent of early 90s between and Justice for All, Black Album, Metallica, I felt. Singing about being nothing, about a worker, worth nothing, being insignificant, smaller and smaller. I can relate more to that than I can bom, 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 bom. You've got no one. You're single and no one cares.
I'll make it worse for you, Maffew.
Oh no! Don't tell me it's all you met. Oh, go on.
I'm not going to. I'm not. No. I'm not going to take closer. It's just that at the beginning, the boom, wow. Today, I re-listened to the song today, and immediately we went through my head. Modest, on the tent, the top. Modest. Imran, that is Jeff Hardy's TNA theme from 2010.
Oh my God, you're right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
dear.
that's good. That actually, yeah.
So now every time I hear the start, I hear Modest.
I want to swanton closer to God.
When we're
a touching story about how you and Imran met, and it was on this song came on, and your eyes met.
Oh no way! I think the first band we bonded on was A Perfect Circle, or specifically the song Pet.
Yeah, Pet.
Fantastic track, but smaller and smaller wins. It's smaller and smaller wins for me, and clearly it does for you, Maffew, too.
Yeah, take that, biggest song by 9 Inch Nails.
Imran, defend the honor of 9 Inch Nails, or are you going to join us?
Oh, this is such a hard pick. Smaller and Smaller is an amazing song, but I am a sucker for some wah on a bass, some really funky type bass.
Oh, I love the funk and the bass. I love the funky
I'm gonna
bass.
have to pick Closer. Just pure business.
Okay.
Nothing personal.
No, that's business. No problemo, mate. No problemo. All right, score check. 4-1 Angel Dust for me. Maffew, 3-2 Angel Dust. Imran, 4-1 Downward Spiral. Ooh. Moving on now. How everything's ruined versus ruiner. Oh, a lot of ruin. It's a little motif itself there. Don't really like Ruiner all that much. I think that's a bit of a weak one. But everything's ruined, however. Not a bad track.
I like Everything's Ruined. The intro part reminds me of my music teacher back in VCE used to have this word that he called for really super weird dissonant sounding chords. And whenever he used to play a chord that was really dissonant, he'd go shram. And whenever I listen to the opening of Everything's Ruined, I just imagine my guitar teacher playing this, just going shram. Just the really dissonant, super disorienting opening. But it's really cool. Once all the instruments come in, the song makes sense. It's got a real ballad feel, kind of bit of a Guns N' Roses vibe, interestingly. But I I really like it. It's got that like 90s alternative metal, like almost like post grunge kind of feel to it. It's just everything in it flows nicely. All the chords just feels like it's just one of those really nice songs. Got Mike Patton obviously just wailing his guts out. It's super catchy. It's a nice song. Ruiner, I'd have to agree, one of the weaker songs, but I like it. It flows nicely from the last song. It just kind of comes straight and continues that like dance party feel. Kind of feels like the synth kind of feels a bit intergalactic, almost like feel like I'm in a spaceship. Um, the super fuzzy guitar that solos in it is super cool. I really love it. But I think this one I have to pick Everything's Ruined.
It's at this point where I think on both records, I'm really beginning to appreciate how much funk there is, like, inspired on both of them. I'm really enjoying that element.
Absolutely, yeah. Very funky, but very different versions of funk. Absolutely. I'm not picking Ruiner, but I do want to say the keyboard synth in this song is beautiful. I mean, it's one of the highlights of this period of Nine Inch Nails, going back to pre-Hate Machine. Just seeing what they were doing with the keyboards, the Casio keyboards that they borrowed from all those colleges, never gave back, and then destroyed on stage. It's a very nice Trent Reznor. It's impressive me just to see, because looking at the technology they had, think about what guys like Depeche Mode and whatever had back in the day, and how they were able to create this stuff, and Tangerine Dream and whatever. And now at this period of history and what they're able to do with what they have. Because nowadays you make anything sound like anything. It's very easy, but there's still a different time for this type of music. The music here is just stunning. The background, the ambiance, as you said there, the spaceship music. Yeah, I think I would definitely agree with that. But Everything's Ruined. I mean, it's so bittersweet. Such a upbeat medley about everything being crap.
It's
Nothing being right. Everything's just, nothing worked out how he expected it. And you know what? Everything's ruined. Yeah.
Yay, everything's ruined.
I saw Faith No More at Download 2009. Sat there with
Whoa, how was that?
Oh, I was happy because by the time I got into Faith No More and knew who they were, they'd already split up. That famous bit where they said, we would like to stop all the rumours about us splitting up by announcing that we split up. It's after King for a Day. No, that's not true. After Album of the Year, which is the most cynical album I've ever heard. It's a cynical name for an album I've ever heard, because no, it wasn't. And thinking, all these great bands, like, I don't know, Lynyrd Skynyrd, I'll never get a chance to, but like Faith No More seems like a 90s band I'm not going to listen to. Oh, it's a shame. Then he announced they were getting back together. I was like, bought the tickets, first week they came out, went and saw them, and they're there just singing Reunited, and it feels so good. Oh, fantastic. And yeah, Everything's Ruined. When you listen to this by itself and you're paying attention to the lyrics and how it sounds, you are like, yeah, you can be in a bit of a negative mindset, despite of the positivity of the song and the lovely riffs.
I got consumed by the positivity of that, Maffew. I kind of get perked up listening to it.
But I was going to say, that's the thing, that context is king. There, it downloads, surrounded by people, everything's ruined. Yeah. Like, oh, you're right. This can be either a negative or a positive song, depending on your mindset. If you're surrounded by thousands of Faith No More fans in the back, and you know what? Everything's ruined. Yeah. So I will give that a point, just for the lovely song about negativity, something I can relate to.
Imran.
Everything's ruined for me. Not literally, just the song.
Just the song.
Like Nine Inch Nails' chances of winning this.
Ruiner.
Well, they have a moral win, because
Aptly
you did
titled.
pick against Faith No More at least once.
Shush.
I think we're in agreement again. All three of us are going to take Everything's Ruined, I reckon, for the same points you've just raised right then and there. Let's move on. Malpractice versus The Becoming. This one's tricky for me. This one's quite competitive.
One is...
The Becoming I didn't quite like at the start, but it's grown on me. That one's the song that grew on me. Love the acoustic guitar in The Becoming.
This competition here, Malpractice and The Becoming, I hate this because these are both like top 3 songs off of each album here. Like you listen to The Becoming, like the intro of the kind of off-kilter beat over that screaming, and all I can think is of course, this was the one album that was recorded in the Tate murder house, the Sharon Tate house where Charles Manson was murdered, which was called Le Pig, I believe, by Trent Reznor when he bought the house. Like, this album of all albums would be the one to be recorded there. It's just the whole, like, the rhythm of this song, just everything is amazing. The vocals kind of remind me a bit of Ozzy, which is very, very on par with the song.
How?
Because I just feel like this song is playing in a pit of like humans just screaming in a random part in hell. It's just
Right.
somewhere, and it's just an ironic disco just in hell with screaming humans and Trent Reznor somewhere in the middle just singing this song.
I'll add to that
But
visual, Imran. I want to add to that visual a little bit. I can kind of see like action film, rubble and ruins from a ruined city, and it's just rapidly edited, and that being the soundtrack. But
Okay.
yeah, something like that. But also, there's just elements in there. It's like, oh, no wonder in the 90s the Y2K bug was the thing, because the sounds that come out of that track, it sounds like
Yeah.
the incarnate of the Y2K bug, honestly.
Yeah. My favorite part of the song is the guitar solo and the riffs at the end. The guitar solo just sounds like a rusty knife or a chainsaw. It just cuts. It's disgusting, and I love it. The like you said as well, the acoustic breaks are really nice. Malpractice in comparison. At first thought, when I was re-listening to this, I forgot I was listening to Faith No More and thought I was listening to Nine Inch Nails for a sec, just that little intro. But this song is so menacing. It's monstrous. It's threatening. I love it. This
Drowning in
the
evil.
riffs in this, the like Mike Patton's range in this is just I don't know how to describe it. The that little soft switch up in the middle, suddenly everything just descends, and there's those violins, and it's just insane. The whole song kind of feels like you're at the really scary part of a horror movie for 4 straight minutes, and I absolutely love it. So I've not made my decision yet. This is quite possibly the worst one yet to pick.
Maffew.
Someone go.
It's a tough one. It's like Imran says, they're very, very good songs, but in different styles. It's like comparing The Godfather to Scarface. Nine Inch Nails, they're becoming... I like the lyrical themes of turning man into machine. Big fan of Tetsuo the Iron Man. Very dodgy film about a man who becomes a machine, accidentally. He doesn't really enjoy it, and he ends up embracing it. I think these are lyrics that didn't so much mean something back in the day, or maybe they did, but nowadays you do get the feeling of becoming more machine, the fact that we're all driven with computers and led by phones and so on and so forth. The music at the start, the music at the start, obviously it's all music. Again, Imran's on one with a degree. I like it. I think that's the best thing of the album. This bit of the song. The ending bit with, I'm going to put this, he does this style throughout the album, and it's good, where it gets louder and heavier and the wall of noise, as I said beforehand. I don't think it's done too well here, just because it's done better elsewhere in the album, but I still like the ideas and themes of it. Faith No More, Malpractice, on the other hand. When I first listened to this album, this was my favourite song, because I was into the loud, angry music, punch you in the face style thing, and this was the closest thing on the album to that style I was listening to. I wasn't listening to any jazz or anything else like that. Obviously inspired Mike Patton at this time. It was all angry, rah, rah, rah. And this is just a brutally aggressive, I don't know you, but I'm going to fight you type song with the staggeringly hard drums, that riff that sounds like marching. And then the 3/4 of the way through the album, it almost tricks you, deceives you when it starts, do, 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 do. We get a bit of Tchaikovsky with the samples. This was my favourite song when I first heard it. Still love it. They're very different songs, but this one's just pure aggressive. This is presumably Mike Patton coming off his caffeine high, now on a caffeine low, and wanting to fight someone. Reading reports, possibly the rest of the band. That's why they weren't enjoying each other its company during this time.
Yeah, Jim Martin was gone after this one.
Yeah. He did that and went, everything's ruined. Yeah. I know Malpractice. But they're very different songs. It's a hard one, this. but Malpractice just because of the raw aggression there. And Trent Reznor seems very downbeat for someone who's turning into a computer. He probably would have been very happy as a computer. I think the song should have been happier.
Right. Just so Imran gets a bit more time for his decision, I'll go next. Respect Malpractice for all the reasons you've mentioned. Love the violin. I'm glad Imran celebrated that with me. That song drowns in evil. Despite the fact not enjoying The Becoming on first listen, and there are still elements I don't like, just because of that acoustic guitar and just based on the respect and the curiosity, I will give the respect to The Becoming on this particular battle. Just out of respect, it has grown on me. And I honestly, that acoustic guitar, kind of like Midlife Crisis, it's been stuck in my head ever since hearing it.
Oh, I guess it's up to me now. This is another one that I can physically feel hurting me. I'm gonna have to go with Malpractice. It sucks. I love The Becoming. I don't want to downplay The Becoming at all, but there's something about Malpractice. I love just riffs, just the constant barrage of that song, just marching forward, pummeling at you like you've got no escape, and it's gonna get you no matter what. Yeah, Faith No More.
Faith No More it is. Well, we're actually halfway through, so intermission question for you, Maffew. You a Mr. Bungle fan by any chance?
I listened to a bit of them.
Okay.
They're quite out there. I think I preferred Tomahawk when I first listened to them, but Mr. Bungle I can appreciate. They cover the Godfather theme.
Yeah, that's another band I've got to probably explore later on after we record this. All right. Kindergarten versus I Do Not Want This. It's not getting any easier for you two gentlemen, isn't it?
I know, man. Jesus. It's like Sophie's Choice. God. I Do Not Want This. I really like the sound of this one. I think The Becoming started off good and then just went back to normal. I Do Not Want This. You know what the sound sounds like to me at the start with the piano and the vocals? It sounds almost like one of these, idealistic white fence type American places that you see on TV. Like, everything's normal, everything's all right. And there's this little subtle subversion midway through. So I like I Do Not Want This. I love this. Again, Nine Inch Nails, a lot of the time I spend my time listening to more the music, the sounds that are coming out of their synthesizers and guitars than I do the lyrics, and often have to go back and listen to them. Whereas Faith No More's lyrics are very front and center. You listen to them first and then pay attention to the rest of the music. But Kindergarten, by comparison, it's a strange one. It's just, it's almost like a song about being confused, a song about not being in the right place at the right time. Specifically Kindergarten, really getting held back again and all this stuff. Feeling like you don't belong, but not necessarily in other songs that I've heard from other bands where you don't feel like you belong because you don't fit in and everybody else is wrong and you're right. You just can't connect to anybody. This song feels like him singing about you don't fit in because you're wrong. And it's a strange kind of upbeat but then not, and then is again and isn't. I think my band just likes teasing people on how you're supposed to actually feel about a song. So, if you had to put a gun up my head, maybe a big gun, and or a big man with a gun, I should say. There you go, ruin that reference. I will have to say, I Do Not Want This by Nine Inch Nails.
Imran.
I have to agree. Kindergarten's a very weird one. I like the slower groove of the song, like a lot of guitar harmonics and stuff. The guitar part's really cool. It feels like just a big orchestra in the background, and then Mike Patton just starts rapping, and I'm just like, what? It's a really odd song for, like, especially for the slower groove, the more lighter feel of the song. It's just suddenly Mike Patton to just come in so suddenly with just his rapping. It's a very interesting song. I do like the bass and the megaphone part where Patton just starts speaking even faster. It's a really interesting song. In up against I Do Not Want This. I think I Do Not Want This is more of it's just a better song. It's got that really spooky, like jazzy kind of piano. Kind of gives me like a 1930s like True Detective vibe, real noir type stuff. Trent Reznor kind of sounds like Jonathan Davis in this song from Korn, in his lower register kind of. I don't know, just kind of sounded like him. But yeah, this was a cool song. It's got that electric like drum solo part, very tonal piano solo. Just got like piano's just going everywhere. The guitar solo towards the end is really cool. Super like low end type stuff. Kind of reminded me of Jimi Hendrix, which is really cool. But yeah, the guitar at the end, I think, and the lighter like super spooky jazz kind of feel of this one. I think we'll have to go. I do not want this.
Points to Kindergarten for having a bass solo. Well, a solo-ish, but for the bass. I just looked at my little fun facts sheet for Nine Inch Nails, and I forgot that I went and researched this. Apparently, I Do Not Want This had the drummer from Jane's Addiction on the drums.
Ah,
Apparently, if someone wants to fact check me that, please do. But that's what I found somewhere. Again, if it's not true, please do fact check me. Facebook.com/Metal Standoff Pod. I do not want this. You two are convincing me, gentlemen. Yeah, chill up.
I've never really sat down and like compared song to song, or is this one better than this? This sounds weird because I always just picked, without going in depth to this and this name runs explanations, I would have gone everything on this album, Faith No More. But if we put it track by track, you're like, nah, this is good.
yeah.
I'll say this. I think I'll go I Do Not Want This for the points that both of you have been making. And also, Kindergarten is a bit of a step down after the 3 previous tracks we've had, which were stellar. Properly stellar.
Straight after Malpractice as well.
Yeah, it's hard to top Malpractice.
I think
and
you needed that. Like you said, like a wrestling card. Sometimes you need to come down. You have an interview segment, have a comedy match, send like the clown out or something. And I think that's what this song is.
I think all 3 of us will take 9 Inch Nails on that one. We'll do a quick score update. Maffew and myself share the same score, 5-3 to Angel Dust, whereas it's 5-3 Downward Spiral for Rimrun. How lucky is that?
Ooh.
Okay. Be aggressive versus big man with a gun. And talking about big man with a gun is probably my main point I wanted to get across with 9 Inch Nails. I prefer 9 Inch Nails in quick spurts like this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this song only goes for 1 minute and 36 seconds.
Yeah. And same thing, same point I could make with March of the Pigs, less than 3 minutes.
Yeah. Big Man with a Gun. I really like this song, like a lot.
Brutal.
Because it feels longer than 1 minute and 36. It's just relentless. It does not stop barraging you. It's just choppy, just keeps going. It just gets worse and worse as it goes along, and then it just stops. And yeah, not to delve too much into the subject topics of both of these songs, but from what I gather, they're both very similar. But yeah, like Big Man with a Gun is just punk industrial type stuff. Kind of gave me like a Nirvana vibe with that song.
Or something like a radio-friendly unit shifter or like a Very 8
or
kind
like,
of thing. Or Settler's
Tourette's
Apprentice. Oh, I hate that song so much.
Yeah.
I haven't recovered from the pod we did with Cypress on that one, Imran. I cannot stand that song.
Let's not get back into that.
Thank God that song went up against Frogs, mate.
Oh my God.
Thank goodness.
Don't get me started.
But I see your point.
Yeah, it's relentless. It just barrages you. It's so good. Be aggressive on the opposite end of the spectrum, I guess, is just like introing with this like super evil like church organ, like vampire type beat, I guess. And then suddenly this bass comes in and just super funky beat just hits you in the face, and you've got some more of Mike Patton's like, I guess, kind of sing rappy type vocals. But this is easily like, I guess I'm gonna call it here, this is my favorite song on the album. Like it's super catchy, it's punchy, it's funky. This song is just it's aggressive. I don't know how else to say it.
But it's also just an outright funk song, and it's got church organs, and it's got cheerleaders. Really, damn it, it's got cheerleaders.
You wanted to hear Red Hot Chili Peppers type Faith No More, then this is what you're gonna get. This is the closest. I love the 3-part harmonies, like the little what's it, barbershop quartet type kind of thing that Mike Patton does. The vocal delivery is amazing. I just love Mike Patton on this song. It's he's just got attitude. I love it. The vocal delivery, I swallow, and then just the cheerleaders coming in, be aggressive,
So funny.
be aggressive. I love it. I genuinely don't know what I'm gonna pick yet.
That's okay. I know I'm picking Be Aggressive straight away for all the reasons Imran said. What a catchy song. And again, having church organs in a song. It's always appreciative to see them. Associate them with the villain in a Vincent Price film, perhaps. Maybe the abominable Dr. Phoebes or something. But yeah, the subversiveness of Roddy Botton, the openly gay, Faith No More keyboardist, going, right, I've had enough of Mike Patton and his no sleep. I'm going to write some lyrics that he's going to have to go out every night on tour and sing about, giving radio edit in front of a crowd of thousands while he sings about being on his knees and radio edit. This is a PG podcast. And I like the fact that Mike had no idea, because all the stuff he was writing wasn't always making complete sense. The fact that he did it. And the fact that it's catchy. That's even worse. It's one thing to go out and have some lyrics that are like, oh, okay, you're going to, haha. You go out there and have some fun and pick up somebody and radio edit like an animal. But to have it done in such a catchy way, the Be Aggressive, B-E aggressive, so good, so catchy, so wonderful, so upbeat when the rest of the song maybe isn't, is one. I do like it when that happens in songs. And it's obviously so good that Marilyn Manson thought it was worth stealing note for Be Obscene. Just saying, you hack. It's not enough he'd steal from Trent Reznor on the other side of the coin. Might as well go for Faith No More as well. You get. If it's not tied down, it's his. Just
Marilyn
saying.
Manson just cannot catch a break.
You can't, can he? No, again, but I was a fan. The reason why I'm so passionate is because I was a fan of his music up until Golden Age of Grotesque, which is an album about having no ideas because nothing shocks anymore and being old and past it, by an artist who had no ideas anymore, who was old and past it. Just saying. So yeah, it's Be Aggressive, B-E aggressive, I swallow. What could that mean? Maybe he's eating some cheese, I don't know. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, on the other channel, flicking over to Monday Night Nitro, A Big Man with a Gun. I think it's appropriate that's actually against Be Aggressive because they're both songs about what I think to be primal urges. Again, PG podcast. And that's why it's such a quick song. And that's why it's over very quickly. And the lyrics are about having a big man, big gun, fire, spurt. And then he's done. I mean, a minute 30. Sorry to hear that, Trent. But some of us have, maybe do some yoga. Maybe it's going to be a longer song.
Hey, he's a big man with a big gun, I guess.
That's it. Hey, when you've got a big gun, you don't have to have good aim. We're talking about fox hunting, honest. So that makes sense. To me, this song has always been the setup for a warm place rather than a song by itself. So just putting it song versus Be Aggressive, no. Big Man with a Gun and a warm place, the combo, maybe that would be an argument worth having. But right now, Big Man with a Gun, chance against Be Aggressive. Sorry.
Oh, it gets my point, Big Man with a Gun.
Why is that?
Pretty much the same reason. I like 9 Inch Nails in quick succession, in thrashy, unhinged madness, and it's all over and done with. Right, next up, another Faith No More single, A Small Victory versus A Warm Place. Let me just get this right out of the gate. A Warm Place is probably going to get the point for me, but not for the reasons you think. For some reason, I discovered the song as the musical bed to a rendition of the Henry Rollins I Know You poem. And I thought that was almost perfect atmosphere. So I might end up just taking A Warm Place based on that, because what a musical bed that is. But I'll understand if you take A Small Victory. That makes perfect sense to me.
No, I really like A Warm Place. I think it's perfect on the album where it is in terms of the placement of where all the songs are and where it comes in, especially right after Big Man with a Gun, how Big Man with a Gun just ends so suddenly, and then suddenly you've just got ambience and just light melodies coming in. It's a big landscape. Yeah, you're stuck in a landscape somewhere, and there's a light melody like just in the background. It kind of sounds a bit like crying almost, and you're just like floating, through this landscape. And Yeah, there's not really much to say about the track really, but it's just where it is in the album is just so perfect because you've had all of these songs just about hatred and loathing, and then suddenly you've got this little break, this tiny little slither in the album where you can just breathe. And I think for that purpose, A Warm Place is perfect on the album where it is. Small Victory on the other side of the coin is like kind of reminds me of like an 80s pop ballad. It gives me like Lionel Richie vibes until of course he starts rapping. It's a nice song, I guess. It's got like it's got that darker riff, the slow descending screams and stuff. Um, it's that little spoken word part as well that's really nice. It's a nice song. I'm probably going to pick A Warm Place here as well, just because A Small
Wow.
Victory doesn't really stand out to me.
I didn't expect that, Imran. I'm glad I have a bit of company with you on that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
But again, my reasons for picking A Warm Place are a bit more anecdotal and a bit more on a personal level. But either or. Maffew, opinion?
Yeah, as I said before, Big Man with a Gun works, builds and builds and builds. I want to do this, I want to do that. I'm done. And then we get A One Place, perfectly placed, almost intermission song. But because we've had so much build up, we've had the wall of noise, we've had the crunchy keyboards, with the only solace being the quiet bits at the start of the song with the funky beats. This hits hard on the overall as an album. Treating this like from song one to song end. This very relaxing ambient track really does stand out and hit you in a place where you're not expecting it. I think that's nice. It's looking at the absence of things when it comes to, like when I'm watching films and stuff, and sometimes it can really hit you when there's no noise, or when there's comedy or delivery where there's the art of silence, the art of taking things away. And I think it's beautifully done here. If there was another song like this in the album, I'd be like, no, it'd be pretty awful. But it's fantastic here. A One Place. There's only that one, a very audible lyric. The best thing about life is knowing you put it together. Kind of doesn't really. I couldn't figure it out myself out checking online, but the fact that there's one lyric and the rest of it's just chill, just take the time out. I can appreciate that. I do like A One Place. And the overall, if you listen for this, I think if you listen to it just as it is, maybe not has the same effect. But if you listen to the build-up, or at least just the previous song, I do like it. A Small Victory is a good song by Faith No More. It's weird that this was a single. Like, I wouldn't have picked this to be that. It's lyrically, I really like it because it's about the concept of winning and actual victory and the losing, just sucking. And just the bit at the end, I agree with them. Almost the 80s pop ballad, they're doing his vocals, do, 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 do. It's that lovely subversive thing Faith No More do with the lyrics where it's like, oh, this sounds nice, and then just drags you in, and then just. The bit at the end, though, is my highlight. If I spoke at one constant volume, at one constant pitch, and you still wouldn't hear. As someone who's worked in retail, I can relate to thinking these very same lyrics. They've come up my head many a times, and you have to explain to someone for the 33rd time that, no, we don't offer that. No, you can't do that with the shop. No, we're not going to say that. No, I'm not going to give you that discount. You still won't hear. You still won't hear. So, I think that fits. So, this is tough. Just to be fair to Trent, I'll go with A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place? No.
Quiet Place.
It's a quiet song.
The movie that came out 2 years ago.
Botchamania.
I'll pick a song that isn't on the album, to be fair to Trent.
No problemo. We're all in agreement. A Warm Place. I didn't expect that. I thought I'd be alone on that one. But that's nice to hear. We're all together in a warm place. We'll do a quick score update, however. First off, I've now drawn it up at 5-all. Imran, Downward Spiral is still in the lead 6-4. But Maffew, Angel Dust still in the lead 6-4. So subverted scores. However, because I've drawn, it's very likely that this entire battle is going to go to a draw. Who knows? We've still got a few songs left to go. And those songs are Crack Hitler and Eraser.
Man, what a title. Crack Hitler.
This is a PG podcast, remember?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, great. So, yeah, perfect. For those two albums, right?
Of course, perfect.
Yeah. Well, to start it off, Crack Hitler. That's what a funky song. I love the Tom Morello type guitar at the start, and then the slap bass that comes in. Kind of get Phantom of the Opera vibes with this song. It's really cool. It's one of those songs that just I don't it like it doesn't particularly stand out, but it's one of those songs that when I listen to, I'm like, like this is a bit of a banger, you know? Like I forget about this song sometimes. I like the beat switch in the middle that goes to Mike Patton with his big operatic vocals. Kind of, I picture him on the side of a mountain singing to like thousands of people in a village, just belting out his big operatic, sexy voice. Yeah, it's a great song. Eraser is an interesting song. I kind of get Tool vibes from this song because the bass is like very rhythmic, like against the drums. The guitar's a bit spooky, that little lick in it. That repeating riff in the middle kind of feels like I'm being like sucked into like another hypnotizing like little. It's like a thought loop. The riff just kind of going on. The ending particularly with all the distortion and the lyrics just is like, super hateful, but it's so cool. This is actually a pretty tough one for me because these are both just like, oh, they're cool songs. They're kind of hard to pick against.
Oh, there's the hot tag to Maffew. I'll start off with Eraser. I like how it sounds. I think I've said that about every single Nine Inch Nails song so far, but I do love how Nine Inch Nails sounded during this period and how they've always sounded, to be honest with you. Because I'm a very big video game fan, and back in the day, it makes sense that Trent Reznor was chosen to do the soundtrack for games like Quake because you can almost hear the bits of Quake and Doom and all these other vague sci-fi fighting demon type games that come out that sounded like this and give the same thematic feels. I also love the fact that everything on this album is crunchy and compressed, yet Reznor's voice alternates between soothing and rough. He is the milk being poured on a particularly rough cereal, and especially in this song here. I'm going to like the keyboards. But you know what? I'm just being around the bush. I'd be nice to this because this is the bit of the album in Angel Dust that I particularly like because these last 3 or 4 songs, depending on which release you listen to, that really all fit together as part of this evil episode. I think we have going here from Crack Hitler and all the other songs afterwards. It's just they're so bleak. And right now, Mike Patton getting all messed up and comparing himself to Hitler and having the feeling of having lots of people cheering for you and then having the crowd, yay, yay. He just said the thing changes and he starts going, whoa, like he's getting off. So that's why I'm going to be completely biased here and pick Crack Hitler. And just because it's this and the next 3 songs that I think are just... And you get this with industrial music quite a bit where there's songs that fit together. It's probably a word I'm looking for here as a part. Can't remember the word, sorry. My caffeine's decreasing. But like American Head Charge did it on their album. They kind of released some others, but they didn't really. But the last songs all fit together the same style rather than being all over the place and writing going from Kindergarten to Small Victory and everything else that we've had to RV. And this is they're stating these downbeat, grim sounding songs. So yes, Crack Hitler because it's miserable.
Imran, final choice.
Oh man. I really like the spray bottle sound at the start of Eraser, but Crack Hitler for me.
Sweet.
That's a tough one.
The way I see it, visually, I can see sitting underground in like the train network, you can have the train roaring past, and that's the kind of atmosphere Eraser connotes for me. Just a train roaring past, that's the kind of soundscape. Crack Hitler, element of a danger all around. But in all honesty, I think I'm picking Crack Hitler with both of you as well. It's the element of danger and the element of danger, bit of a funky hip hop style rhythm section. A lot of fun to be had with that. So yep, we're all taking Crack Hitler. Next up.
Yes.
Oh jeez.
Oh no, everyone fell over.
You made me drop my phone.
Oh dear. Jizz Lobber versus Reptile. When I heard Reptile, I wished I was listening to Eraser again. I think Reptile's not a favourite of mine, so I think by default Jizz Lobber's getting the point for me. You two can converse.
Damn. Reptile's it's a good song. I like the robotic beat of it, like the everything. Like it's another one of those songs that's very rhythmic. The intro of it kind of feels like I'm in a city, like in a really big city, and I'm lost. Um, the synths or the trumpets or whatever kind of sound like elephants. So
I
that's
wrote
kinda
that
cool.
down too. I thought I was
Nice.
crazy when I wrote that down. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. Yeah. I actually kind of thought that was a bit of a weird note. I put a question mark next to that here. But yeah, it's Reptile's a cool song. I like the Western feel of it. It's the guitars like give me that like cowboy, like 1800s. You're riding on a horse in the desert, but suddenly you're in this weird cyberpunk city. It's an interesting one. I don't know. Jizzlobber, I just from the title alone, I think gets the point for me. Just I don't know. It's the straight from the intro, the weird frog sounds to the really spooky the synths, the shrams. It kind of gives me like I don't know, like vibes from like Caius. The they're like a old if you guys know Caius, they're like a 90s like stoner band. What's his name? Josh
Yeah,
Homme.
pre-Queens of
Hom.
the Stone Age.
Yeah.
That's the one. Kind of gives me those kind of vibes. Like real groovy, very very dissonant, off kilter, off rhythm type stuff. This is easily in my top 5 Mike Patton vocals. Like very
What a
easily.
range he has on this.
Ooh. The the really low like Edgar Allan Poe vibes I get from this song. It's so cool. I don't know, especially the ASMR breathing in the middle of the song. Just everything about the song from start to finish is it's just a classic Faith No More song, and especially once it fades out and then that weird evil church organ comes in again with the choir.
Love it.
Yeah, Reptile's cool, but Jizzlobber's got this one for me.
Well, Jizzlobber, which almost sounds like the Simpsons where they introduced frogs to Australia. It goes, oh, frogs, that's a funny name. I was going to call them Jizzlobbers. Sorry for that awful attempt at accent. If you see the Collar podcast, we just instinctively do this. It's very British. Feel free to make fun of my accent. Jizzlobber is an evil, evil song. I can hear this playing at the end of a video game if you pick the bad ending. You didn't save the princess. You didn't save the dogs. Everything's burned down. The villain gave you one last chance to side up with him and give him the emeralds, and you gave it to him, and this is the song that's playing as the world burns with you by their side. It's just rotten, it's evil, it's downbeat, and it's beautiful. The vocals go so well with the evil synth, reminiscent of Psycho stabbing scene. And at 4 minutes in, there's a beautiful guitar section, which I think is very reminiscent of Iron Maiden to a certain degree. And then it's sort of like downbeat. Oh, now we're going to have a transition. It's almost a tease. It's like, oh, that was just a downbeat. Do 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 do. And it stops and it goes back to the plodding and the synth and it's downbeat and it's ending and it's rotten. And then it just ends with more church organs again. I think it's a really, really nice way of ending it. Like that was the end.
Especially how prolonged they hold those church notes too.
Yeah.
To make it extra dramatic.
Yeah, and the only thing I have to say about Reptile is that he doesn't have the vocal distorter thing on. I think that helps it stand out. If it hadn't been for that thing, I think the reason why Trent Reznor did this is so he could tell the difference between this and Eraser.
Also, do you share my sentiment that Reptile and Eraser can blend into one a little bit?
Yeah, and I think that Trent Reznor heard that and went, oh, you know what, I'll just take the distorter off that one so I know which one's which.
Yeah, I share that.
That's the exact conversation Trent Reznor had with the producer. Yeah, take that thing off. Click that button there, switch that off. All right, cheers.
I could agree with that to an extent. To an extent.
All three of us taking Jizzlobber, aren't we?
Yep.
Let's say Jizzlobber one more time.
Yep.
Jizzlobber.
Say it nice and slowly for the camera.
Okay. Now technically we were going to end Faith No More Angel Dust here, but we have decided to go one more. So this isn't the end. It's going to be the penultimate. But we're at the penultimate downward spiral track as well, and that's the title track. but that goes up against Midnight Cowboy. Maffew, I'll start with you.
It's
The
weird
hearts are
having favourites.
reappearing on his eyes, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, yes. Because I went into this album with actually, I guess the wrong preconception the first time I heard it. I was rather taken back by how suddenly and dark the album turns towards the end. And then after, especially Jizz Lobbers, I think it's easily the evilest song on the album, even ending with the church organs, and there's this silence. And then the harmonica kicks in, and we get this beautiful instrumental of their cover of the Midnight Cowboy theme. And I can still remember the feeling of hearing this song for the first time. And maybe just because of the build-up, I wasn't expecting it. Even though Faith No More, they ended on another instrumental with Woodpecker from Mars, I believe, from a previous album. I wasn't expecting to hear this lovely instrumental song kicking in. And it's just perfect. It's just as an ending theme, almost. I see the rest of the album, the album ended on Jizz Lobber. And this is the credit sequence. As it comes up, vocals pattern.
That's literally what I wrote down.
Really? Oh, sweet. Thank you. Sweet. I could see your notes. You had them too close to the camera, mate. Yeah, the album's over. Thank you for coming. People have stood up, putting on the coats, getting ready to leave, beat the traffic. And all the while, this it's delicious song is playing. And I've told many people that I would like this song to be played at my funeral. Because it's such a lovely feel, lovely sound, and a feeling of finality to it. But a hopeful one. Considering all the negativity and weirdness that's happened throughout this album, maybe Imran could say this in more eloquent terms than myself. It's upbeat. It sounds upbeat. It sounds positive. We're ending on the album's over, Jizz Lobber's finished, and everything's ruined. But Midnight Cowboy, a film about male prostitution, is sending us home on a happy note. God.
When you first discovered Faith No More, was there ever at any point, being a music fan, did you ever consider picking up an instrument?
I tried doing the harmonica after listening to this.
Did you?
Yeah, it's really hard. Richard O'Brien and the Crystal Maze bit looks so easy. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just do Midnight Cowboy. Everyone will be round at the fireplace and we'll just be singing songs. I'll whip out my harmonica. No, that's not what happened. That's what I envisioned happening, but no, I wasn't able to. So that's the answer to that. What about yourself?
Oh, Imran fronts his own band.
Oh, sweet.
I do, unfortunately. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, times are tough. We're all in lockdown down here in Australia. In fact, actually, the time of when we're recording this, we go out of lockdown at right now. Restrictions begin to ease in 45 minutes from now.
Ooh.
At the time of recording.
Yes, they do. I'm excited.
Make sure you coincide and play the theme for Midnight Cowboy. 5 or 6
play that
6 minutes
the last...
before. Yeah, before you're allowed out. And so it's the final chord lets out. Open the door and run. Oh, no, wait, no, that's bollocks, isn't it? Because we're doing the bonus song, aren't we? Sorry.
In contrast, Imran, The Downward Spiral.
Ooh. The Downward Spiral, the self-titled song off of the album, The Downward Spiral. This is, in my opinion, although maybe in a lot of people's opinion, the darkest song off of The Downward Spiral.
Probably the darkest of both records, in all honesty.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. It's just right from the intro, you've got the acoustic guitar isolated, just playing that downward melody that we were talking about before,
the motif,
the recurring one. Yep, that just playing, just isolated. You've got like an exhale every 2 bars. Just everything in the background just kind of becoming its own thing. Just continues into that main part of the song. And then just everything, once all of the instruments kick in and you just got everything laid out, muffled in the background. And it's just pushed way into the back while you've got, I'm assuming, Trent Reznor speaking in your left ear about something that I could not understand it, but he's just talking. And it's just...
whispering even.
Yeah. It just kind of, the main track just kind of feels like it's trying to break through all that muffled compression, but the whole time it's just at the back, and Trent Reznor's just kind of there, I guess, sitting with his acoustic guitar, playing that melody, but not just speaking, and it's disturbing. And yeah, I this one is going to go to the Downward Spiral for me. Not to discredit the Midnight Cowboy, it's a great cover. It's got a nice swing feel to it. I like the fact that it's just at the end it's the rolling credits, but yeah, the Downward Spiral for me.
Yeah. To your point, Imran, and there you go. That's another WWE commentator term. To your point, the Downward Spiral. It's almost like the audio form of that opening scene in Apocalypse Now with the fan and the very stagnant nothingness, and it's just the rotating fan. It's that in audio form, in my opinion, and then it just becomes torturous the longer it goes on. Whew.
Definitely, yeah.
See, I think you some of my feelings towards it. I'm not that huge a fan of this track because it's not fun to listen to, which I guess is the idea. Whereas Faith No More can have Jizz Lobber, which is, just the violent piano noise and everything else like that, and the lyrical qualities are negative. This to me feels like one of those non-songs that, again, to go back to Manson, because he borrowed everything from Nine Inch Nails and everybody else, that would put on these albums just, to break up the gaps between other songs. I get what they're going for here, but I'm not really going for it. Or maybe I'm overthinking it and treating this what I think it is. Just the intro to Hurt.
To bring it, to not reference it to Marilyn Manson, but instead compare it to The Wall, like how the Downward Spiral has been inspired by, apparently. The Downward Spiral can be kind of seen. You could compare that to The Trial.
Yes, definitely. I kind of had that in mind when I listened to the album, like, again for the podcast, and I heard that it was inspired by The Wall. I thought to myself, like, this is definitely one of those tracks that's right at the end, like the Trial type kind of thing, where it's kind of the thing before the main thing. Like you said, Maffew, about like being the intro to Hurt. It's kind of the piece of music that is kind of the snapping point before the ending. Yeah.
But with that being said, I do like thinking things are going to be all right, so I will take Midnight Cowboy, and I'm guessing Matthew's going to do the same.
Oh, absolutely. No disrespect, and the next one's going to be a fun one, but yeah, Midnight Cowboy, like I said, I want to play it at my funeral. Maybe we could play that with Spiral afterwards to get people out and I'll make sure
clear save some money on...
Right.
The DJ going, you can go where you like, but you can't stay here. Sticking this on.
Much like how the Downward Spiral is The Trial, Hurt is the equivalent to Outside the Wall. And as we said at the start, we're going to put that up against Easy, Faith No More's Lionel Richie cover. Maffew, we'll start with you.
Given what I said before about the beauty of Angel Dust being those last stanza, yeah, we'll go with that. Of those last songs getting more and more downbeat and negative, and then just climaxing with Midnight Cowboy. Having Easy tacked on the end, I guess why companies do this with songs that are popular and stuff like that. But as a song, as a cover, I like it, enjoy it. Easy Like Sunday Morning's a nice expression, and Faith No More were able to do that. Yeah, we're hard, we're alternative. We're going to play all these little soft ballads whenever we want to as well. Just saying. It's nice, but I do not consider it part of Angel Dust. But obviously, with the amount of tracks, has to balance against Downward Spiral. So as much as I love them, as much as I love the song, and it used to be the anthem for Girls on Sunday as well on Sky Sports over here. Nine Inch Nails Hurt. Still gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. Decades later. I mean, the lyrics, I often thought I was listening to the lyrics the right way. Well, now let's see what Imran thinks of it and yourself, obviously. But first of all, it sounds amazing and brutal and stunning in its negativity. And I think it's days I have of my life. I have had days like this. I hurt myself today to see if I still feel is a brutal opening line to set up the rest of this brutal song that is still stunningly beautiful at the same time. And it's stunningly beautiful when listened to as a slow version by yourself in your house, you feeling miserable, or when I saw them at Leeds Festival. And they finish with this. And in a crowd of people, it hits differently. Because, when the quiet bits before he starts the next lyric, people go, yeah, in between, because it's like, yeah, it's a heartbreaking song, and that I'm sure a lot of people in that crowd could relate to. But it's so beautiful to see and listen to by Trent Reznor, who is still amazing live. So, the bit at the end, actually, you know what? I'll say that's my preamble. Yeah, Hurt by a Country Mile. I think it's the highlight of the album. In a different way, I wouldn't go to a club and say, "Oh, pal, can you please play Hurt by Nine Inch Nails?" That'll really get the crowd going. But I think it's just a stunning
I'd
song.
get pretty rowdy if I heard Hurt.
Yeah, Hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm picking that. I want to hear Imran say some things. I want to ask him some questions.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of Faith No More, Easy is a really good cover. To fact check you, Jason, it's a cover by the Commodores.
Oh, okay.
It was before Lionel Richie.
Okay.
He did cover it. Yeah. Easy is easily one of my top 5 Mike Patton vocals in terms of Mike Patton. Just like I don't know why, it's just one of those songs that just hits me. But up against Hurt, that's a completely different story, because what we've got here is one of the, not like I said before, the Downward Spiral is the heaviest song on the album, but Hurt is just a different level of heavy. It's a level of heavy that hits you in places you do not expect to be hit. It's got a guitar riff it's a bit spooky. It's like reaching for something that quite can't be hit, but wants to be hit. It's got these really solemn vocals over the top. It's got a really nice chorus, almost like Johnny Cash style, like nice country, just what you'd expect a normal song to be. But it's just one of those songs that just reaches a place that it's reaching for a spot that it never reaches. And as it progresses, as the vocals get more softer and more solemn, it reaches this point where right at the end, all the instruments just hit you in the face and just leaves itself open for, I guess, like a minute or two to just like dissolve. It's such an unexplainable song where you need to listen to it to fully understand what's happening in it. But Hurt has easily got my point here because of just in terms of the album, in terms of an artistic piece as a song, it is fantastic.
Yeah. It's way easier to say something negative about stuff because you'd be like entertaining with your insults. When it's something that's really, truly moving and beautiful, sometimes I struggle. But my God,
Yeah.
It hurt. Oof.
Like, how do you describe something that hits you like Hurt by Nine Inch Nails? It's I can't think of anything that has ever hit me like this, especially in terms of an album that's gone through what it's gone through and then ended on a song like Hurt. It's
I think it's like the more successful brother to Mad World. Just because in terms of the lyrics, I mean, my sweetest friend, everyone I know goes away in the end. I think I'm older than the pair of you. The amount of people and friends and family I've had who have passed away, sadly, is in the double digits now. That lyric gets me. It probably will still get me. Like every time I listen to it, because that's all I think of is like, oh yeah, all those numbers on my phone that I've not deleted. I'm just keeping around just in case they ring one day. So yeah, it can, in the right mood, this could be a beautiful song. But the last bit, if I could start again a million miles away, I would keep myself, I would find a way. I've had no people who think that's an upbeat way of doing it. Because apparently the lyric, obviously the entire story of the album, the lyric is supposed to be about, this is this man's journey becoming more machine, and that's what that last song apparently meant. He's become a machine, and this is him ending it. And this is supposed to be like now he's passed on now, he's somewhere else, and that's why it's obviously solemn and quiet and completely different than the previous songs. But I always thought that lyric then wasn't him going, if I could do this all again, I would change my ways or anything. It's not a positive note. I always thought I would keep myself, I would find a way, referred to, if I did this again somewhere else, I'd still do it again. I'd still make those mistakes. I'd still become this person. What do you think, Imran?
I like that interpretation. It's definitely a lot darker, I guess, than what.
Yeah, I mean it is. But I mean, is that what you've got, or?
I imagine this is like the end. This is like, if he was to do it again, he probably wouldn't. But it's no backing out now. This is the last track. So this is kind of, it is what it is, and boy, what a thing it is.
Yeah, because I would keep myself, like, I think that's such an ambiguous expression. Keep myself as me. You know, everything that sums up me, all the warts and all, as they say over here. But I think other people are like, no, he's not saying that, Matt. That's on an already negative album. You thought that's the interpretation? I'm like, yeah. You don't think that? It's like, oh. I might have to post that on Facebook because how do people say this? Because show me people go, how dare you? No, it's a happy song. It's like, yeah, stunning though, and even more stunning and having even more tone change to it and feelings when Johnny Cash covered it years later.
Oh yeah,
because there's something about singing a song like this. He sung a song like this when you're in the young part of your life and you're successful, everything's going all right for you. I believe Nine Inch Nails were a success by this point, financially and everything else, commercially. So to sing a song about being downbeat and stuff, it's obviously, you're not singing it now, are you? You're singing it thinking like that, role-playing as someone there. So to have Johnny Cash go, yeah, looking back at his life and maybe looking at regrets, wearing this crown of thorns upon this and feeling hurt because he's old, it's a completely different interpretation. I think it's possibly even more negative than Nine Inch Nails' original. Still beautiful, though, obviously.
I'm so thankful you gave that interpretation to me because you've put into words. I would not have been able to put that in words, and the way you have done it is fantastic. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
I agree.
To use 10 more words needed when only one is required.
No problem.
Because that way I've got a better chance of getting it right.
Well, yeah, all of us agree. Hurt gets the point. Fantastic hearing your perspectives on that. I really do appreciate that. And how about that? We're at the end. Well done, everyone.
Wow. I did not think I would get here.
Yeah, it's just awkward. It's like,
yeah. We made it.
Hurt right now.
We made it, and now it's time to see who wins.
Oh, let's see. Go on.
I'll start first.
I can have it all.
Angel Dust. So the first grand point goes to Angel Dust with me, 8-6. Imran, Downward Spiral, one for you, 8-6. So it all comes down to our guest, Maffew Gregg, the man behind Botchamania. You can hear him every Friday on YouTube, Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah.
Make sure you check out Scott's blog of Doom for his weekly article because it's the most underrated thing he does.
Thank you, pal.
Faith No More, 9. Downward Spiral, 5. Angel Dust wins the day.
Yes.
Surprise, surprise.
Yes.
So Downward Spiral does walk away with a moral win, though, Maffew, because we were able to get a few points out of you for the Downward Spiral.
I think it would have been a horrible appearance. So I'd come on and go, yeah, Faith No More wins. Yeah, another victory for Patton. Patton winning as many victories as General Patton. Fantastic, you know.
He does not need any more. He does not need any more rewards than what he's already got. He knows he's the best.
That's right. Tomahawk, Bungle. Probably some other bands by the time we finish this podcast will be out. Busiest man in World of Rock. Oh.
Well, one of the reasons why I put this podcast together was for an expert on Faith No More and an expert on Nine Inch Nails to help convince me become a fan of the band, or at the very least, explore more of the band, because that's what the Standoff's for. There's a lot of music out there at a young age that you need to... I feel like there's a lot of metal essentials that I haven't gotten around to. So here we are at the end, and I can say, I want to explore more Faith No More, most definitely. And I'm probably going to be checking out the Fragile soon. Do. I reckon I'll check out the Fragile next after this
one. Yes, you do. You definitely need to check out the Fragile. That's That's not coming from me. That's just blasphemous that you have not listened to that yet.
I'd recommend With Teeth. To be honest with you, I heard more late 2000s.
With Teeth is also really good. Yes.
Yeah. Just again, Trent. Some bands, when they get successful, they lose the ability to relate to people and they lose their edge and stuff like that. It's covered by many, many songs. Trent Reznor, with all the wonderful stuff he's had to do and success, still managed to get me in the feels with Every Day Is Exactly the Same. I'm like, how dare you? I'd stop making songs about my life, Trent. How dare you? But again, wonderful sounding album. And Faith No More. If you love Angel Dust, you'll be happy to hear that King for a Day sounds nothing like it. Because they completely changed their sound and style. Very brave of them. But my
controversial take. King for a Day is slightly better than Angel Dust.
I've heard many people say this. Maybe they're right. There are some bangers on King for a Day. But, come on.
I don't know, man. Evidence does it for me.
Look,
I don't know, man.
I mean, look, it's a great... Ricochet is one that my default go to.
Her song, Star AD. I love that song so much. So much. You do not understand how much I love that song.
Yeah. Also a fan of... it's been a while, sorry, the individual songs. And every night I shut my eyes. Come on, Maffew, don't forget the name of the song.
Oh my god.
See the light.
Wait, I know
Just a Man, the closer. Yes. Oh.
It's a really good album.
It really is. Yeah, you know what? Listen to it.
King for a Day. All for a Lifetime.
King for a Day.
Go ahead.
Take This Bottle as well.
Take This Bottle. That is a great song. Wait, what's that other song? Oh no, the name's escaped me. But give me a second.
No worries. And just skip album of the year. You really get everything you need off that from Cup of Sorrow. Just move on to Soul Invictus instead.
Yes, I haven't listened to album of the year actually.
It's a band that some bands release albums and you go, yeah, they couldn't be bothered here. I just do love. I love them call it album of the year. No, it's not because they knew it wasn't. They knew it absolutely was not the album of the year by far.
That is definitely something Faith No More would do. Is name one of their albums the album of the year.
Yeah, really good. The album by Faith No. It's not really good, is it?
Yeah.
Look at this, hey. Two young people from Australia are bonding with a man in the UK who likes wrestling over Faith No More. What a wacky possibility.
You know, I've had the beauty of so many years of being able to go anywhere I believe I like to and listen and watch wrestling with people, complete strangers, and turn strangers into friends with the love of wrestling. But it's been a while since I've gone and met new people and friends just via the power of music. But there definitely is that love of people who love alternative music or rock or whatever genre you want to put these all into, because really it is almost like, despite the fact that they sold millions, Faith No More on 9 Inch Nails, they're still seen as alternative because you would not hear Crack Hitler on the radio anytime soon. So the fact that we can all meet together and have these mutual interests, despite being very far apart, despite being very different people, despite me not having to worry about spiders, I think it's beautiful.
And on that note,
Definitely.
Maffew, as a personal fan of hearing you every week on the Cultaholic podcast, the fact that you've taken the amount of time you have to speak with us on this podcast today, today for you, tonight for us, it is not lost on me, and I sincerely and profoundly thank you for taking the amount of time you have tonight. Thank you, Maffew.
No, thank you for having me, honestly, Jason and Imran. Imran for making me more obvious that I don't know how to describe music. It's like
he does the same thing with me. He's our MVP.
It went bloop, bloop, bloop.
Oh, trust me, Maffew. Every podcast we do, if I need some help with putting words into what I think about the music, I call Imran. He's our man.
Yeah. Good. You're the glue keeping it together, Imran. Thank you.
I try.
And, and Jason, thank you for your optimism and a positive outlook. It's what's needed in the world.
Faith No More Angel Dust wins the day on this battle, but I reckon the Downward Spiral walks away with a couple of moral victories. One being, as mentioned, we got Maffew to pick against Faith No More at least once, But also, when we polled you, the listener, over at facebook.com/moshpitonsin, 9 Inch Nails, The Downward Spiral, trounced Angel Dust with 90% of the vote. So each side comes out of this battle looking great. Especially considering that at the start of this battle, the feeling very much was Faith No More is probably going to pitch an entire shutout. However, I think you can agree with the poignant words of Imran and Maffew that by the end of this battle, 9 Inch Nails were redeemed. Now, my profound thanks goes out to Maffew for taking the time to speak with Imran and I on the show. It was a great conversation. See what he's up to regarding Botchamania by following him on Twitter at Maffew Gregg. That is Maffew Gregg, G-R-E-G-G. Double G, kind of like Road Dogg. Also, catch him every Friday or Saturday, if you're Aussie like me, on the Cultaholic Wrestling podcast on the YouTube channel Cultaholic Wrestling. And again, not to be outdone, because I really do think it's the most underrated thing he does, check out his articles on Scott's Blog of Doom, where currently he is reviewing 2010 game show era NXT. The brave soul. If you want to stay up to date with this show, the best way to do that would be through facebook.com/Metal Standoff Pod and through Sin's main metal show, Mosh Pit on Sin, Thursday nights at 8 p.m. on 90.7 FM radio, digital radio, or online at syn.org.au from your preferred device. Wow, what a great podcast that was. That's all for now. Until next time, metal up your ass.